All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Kakadash. And I want to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth, 100% securely. And I'd like to give a salutation to the Akim and Aqua who are listening and studying to show ourselves approved. This is Brother Bayan from the Tulsa, Oklahoma, Hebrew Israelite Camp, coming back to you with another quick lesson. And this pretty much going to be a response, which I just started watching this lesson from this is Elder Yashawamba, GMS Dallas. Okay, that's who was talking in the video. I'm not sure if this is his actual page, this is his backup page or not, but you know, this is the title of the lesson is the Lord's Mark versus the Beast Mark, right? The mark of the beast. All right, and then in the beginning of this lesson, he basically responded to a comment that was made onto a video that he did about believers of the way, because you know they break down the mark of the beast wrong. Okay, so real quick, well, just make it plain and short, because I highly recommend you go watch it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and share it. It should pop up in my my community tab, right? So basically your comment said that there should be a video going into to clear up the fog and the confusion between the Lord's mark and the mark of the beast, which it should be plain and simple, because if you know the basic, if you have the basic in mind at all times, like one of the basics is to study to show ourselves approved. Matter of fact, let's get that real quick. Bear with me for a minute. All right, so like I had to get rid of some stuff on my phone. But this is 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 15. Okay. All right, and it says, study to show thyself approved unto Yahweh Shah. And it says, workmen needed not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. All right, so when you rightly dividing the word of truth, when you go into the word divide, it basically means break down. Okay, and when you actually apply that math terminology, it basically saying break down. So rightly divide, rightly break down the word, not words as in plural, but word of truth. Okay, so the word, which is mark, which is ultimately is the main confusion. Okay, and so there's a lot of scripture that have the word just simply mark. Let me see if I can type it in and see, go into all these different words that have the word of mark. Okay, and some of the main ones, it would be, so it says right here, Genesis 4 and 15, it said, the Lord said unto him, therefore whosoever slay Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him to kill. Okay, so when you go into that word mark, which I'm gonna go right back to it. And this scripture, you could basically the word mark have many different definitions, and that's what you got to understand. That should clear up the confusion. Right? Hold on, give me 1 second. All right, go to Mark. See what Mark say in this scripture right here.
Strong's H226. Oath.
Okay, so that's the Hebrew word called oath. And then it said a sign, signal, a distinguishing mark, banner, remembrance. Okay, and it says a miraculous sign. All right, and so when Cain slew his brother Abel, he received a certain mark that shows who this person is. So basically, in this particular passage, you have to go to the right here where it says warning. Okay, and that was pretty much meaning that the Cain, because that's the mark of Cain, was pretty much he was the man of sin, what it boils down to. Okay, so there is that mark. All right, let's go back. Oops, Salakia. Let's see what other word for mark, right? So, this is just a quick lesson just to clear up some of the confusion, because all you got to do is look up the meaning of the word, mark. You understand that the word mark have more than one different meaning, just like any English word we use, it have more than one different meaning. Like to simply put, the word can, C-A-N, it's a short word, but it has more than one meaning. So if I say, can you take me to work, I'm asking you, do you have the ability to take me to work at a certain time? Versus hand me that can, or put something in that trash can. It's a difference. And so when you understand that mindset, you understand like what the scriptures that you read, and certain scriptures that you read, and they have a different meaning depending on how the word is used in that in a sentence or a paragraph. So this is very basic, so it shouldn't be any confusion on the word of mark. Okay, so the title of that lesson, okay, the Lord's mark versus the beast mark, is a difference. So when you go to the Lord's mark, which is in Ezekiel, the 9th chapter, and just go straight to it. All right, and see, and really we can, to the point of being, I believe it's 9 and 4, but we'll go ahead and start at the top right here, because it said at the top, it says Ezekiel 9 and 1, and he said, he cried also in my ears with a loud voice, saying, cause them that have charge over the city to draw near, even every man with his destroying weapon in his hand. And behold, 6 men came from the way of the highest gate, which lieth towards the north, and every man a slaughtered weapon in his hand, and no man among them was clothed with linen, with a writer's of Salaki. He said, and one man among them was clothed with linen, with a writer's inkhorn by his side, and they went in and stood beside the brazen altar. In verse 3, and he said, and the glory of Yahweh, the glory of the power of Israel, was gone up from the cherub, whereupon he was to the threshold of the house, and he called to the man clothed with linen, which had the writer's inkhorn by his side. And the Lord Yahweh said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the forehead of the man that sighed and that cried for all the abomination that be done in the midst thereof. Okay? And so right here, this is a different mark. Okay? Because he says, set a mark upon the man, all right? Upon the forehead of the man that sighed and that cried for all the abomination. Those are the righteous men, those who constantly complain to Yahweh Shai, how long, O Lord, should we be suffering in this wicked kingdom? How long should we be going through these abominations? How long should we have to suffer seeing somebody steal, kill, and destroy? How long? And so this is the Lord sending one of his death angels to put a mark on a man that sigh and they cry in the abomination. All right? And so when you go into the word mark in Ezekiel 9 and 4, which is completely different.
Strong's H8420. Tav.
Nah, they changed it right here. Yeah, this how you know Esau Edom is that he at work right here. So they changed the meaning over here, but it's a Greek word, it's a Hebrew word tawah. All right, that was the last time when I looked this up. It was the last time I said it. It was tawah. All right, but right here it says desire mark a sign of exemption from judgment. You see. All right, in its own definition, it says a mark, by implication, a signature, desire mark. Okay, so that's the point. That's what that mark is for. So the Lord told this angel pretty much to go put a mark on his righteous men. All right, and here's the reason why he said that. Let's go back and finish reading. So in verse 5, Ezekiel 9 and 5, and he said, and to the others he said, in my hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity slay utterly old and young, both maid and little children, women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Then they begin at the ancient man which were before the house. See? And so that was the difference. That's the difference between the mark. All right, so that's one thing. That's right here. That's what described right here is the mark of the Lord right here in Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 4. That's the mark of the Lord. Okay? And now when you go into the mark of the beast, which is in Revelation chapter 13 and 16. Okay? This is the mark of the beast. All right? And it says, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. Okay? And the mark of the beast is that RFID microchip. Okay? And he says, and that no man might buy or sell. Right? So you get that RFID microchip in your hand or your forehead, you can buy and sell. You can pretty much make business transaction with it. All right? And he says, my buy or sell say that he have the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have the understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Okay? So that's this is the mark of the beast right here. This is what you should expect versus, the mark of the Lord, which is that the mark of the exemption, which is pretty much the mark of salvation. And then you got the mark of the beast, which is a physical object that allow you to buy and sell with it. All right. And now and going to Revelation 14 and 9, there's a penalty for taking that mark of the beast as well too. All right. And there's a difference, because notice when you read in Ezekiel, the 9th chapter, the 4th verse, there's chosen people. Okay, so there's a list of people that's going to have that mark of exemption. All right, so the Lord already have them in mind, because he said go and put a mark on those that cry and sigh. See, there's a difference, right? So the Lord already have these people chosen versus the people that go and get the mark of the beast, meaning these are the people that are going to have lack of faith. Right? These are the people that don't believe on Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, all right? That they basically try to climb up some other way. These are the ones that are going to receive that mark of the beast, right? Okay, so Revelation 14 and 9, it says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image. All right, hold on, bear with me for a minute. Salakia. So I'm going to read that again. I read it starting at the top. It said, Revelation 14 and 9, it says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark. Salakia, I meant to let's get the Greek word for mark in this one right here too. All right, so we already got the mark for Thawah and Ezekiel 9, which is a different. Okay, this one right here is
Strong's G 5480. Haragma.
all right, and its biblical outline uses is a stamp imprinted mark of mark stamp on the forehead or the right hand as a badge of the follower of the Antichrist right here. This is the anti-anointed. That's the difference. A mark branded upon a horse. Okay, things carved, sculpted, graven earth. So something that's gonna be carved or implanted into you. And so all you gotta do is look up the RFID microchip, and there's your example. All right, song definition, charagma. And it says that scratch or acting, i.e. stamp as a badge of servitude. Okay, so again, they're going back into serving. Basically, when you're serving the beast. Okay, when you get that mark of the beast, you're serving not the Lord, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but you're serving another God, a false God, when you receive that mark. Okay, there's a big difference. All right, compared to the mark of exemption, that the Y. Those are the ones who serving Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Those are the ones who serving the Lord, okay? The God of the Bible, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, all right? And so going back, all right, so we finished reading Revelation 14 and 9. And it said in verse 10, it said, and the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath. To those who receive that mark of the beast, this is going to be their fate. All right, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angel and in the presence of the Lamb. And it says, and the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they shall have no rest, day nor night, who worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receive the mark of his name. Okay, so those are the people who receive that mark. There's going to be a destruction or something. Okay, they're not going to be exempt from judgment. All right, as when you see the mark in Ezekiel 9:4, those are the ones that are going to be exempt from judgment. They're going to receive salvation. Versus those who receive the mark of the beast, they're going to be destroyed. You see, you know, it's a lot of other things, and there's other scriptures that have the word mark. The one with Apostle Paul, what I was thinking too. Let me see where I can find it at. So there's a lot of other scriptures where it's just different words of the meaning of mark. All right. Right here, Romans chapter 16 and 17. We go get that real quick. And it says, now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause division and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them. You see? And so it shouldn't be any confusion behind the Lord's mark, as long as you have one of the main basic scriptures is basically looking up the meaning of words. Okay, so what Apostle Paul was saying in Mark, Romans 16 and 17, the word mark in that scripture is
Strong's G 4648. Scapeo.
Okay, in the biblical outline usage, it says to look at, observe, contemplate, to mark, to fix one's eye upon, direct one's attention to, anyone, all right, to look to, take heed to thyself, you see? And so when you go and you read that, well, when Apostle Paul said it, he said, now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause division and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them, you see? So Apostle Paul basically saying anybody that have a doctrine that's completely different from what you have learned, you are to avoid them, watch them and avoid them, all right? And so that's the difference between word mark. I remember doing a lesson on this some years back. It was probably about a couple years ago. And I think I simply titled it Mark Them, all right? I think that was the title of it. Okay, so, you know, it's just a simple lesson just to keep in mind when you read in scriptures, you know, you definitely have to go into the meaning of the word. That way it shouldn't be no confusion. Okay, so, you know, as, 1 John 4:1, when it says, beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirit. These are the things that you keep in mind, because when you see somebody that teaching, like for example, IUIC, what he's doing, they're joining with the Nation of Islam. Okay, this is a direct cut to IUIC right here. This very scripture, Romans 16 and 17, because they're basically joining with a group that don't believe in the Messiah. Okay, so they're basically speaking, their action in their speech is contrary to the doctrine of Yahweh Shah. And so what Yahweh Shah says, you should avoid them. All right. So anytime you see an IUIC member, you shouldn't really be having a conversation with them, you know. And that's just my personal opinion. I wouldn't even associate with them, because they go off constantly. All right. Here it is. You got, Apostle Paul and many other scriptures that say you should be in one body, all right, and all shall be under one agreement. And then you join forces with someone who don't believe in the Messiah. Okay, they bow down to a black stone, or they bow down to a moon, right? And and then at the later video I seen it that said that we're fighting for the same cause. No, man. So that's just that should clear up the confusion when you just simply look up the meaning of the word that are in the scriptures, man. It's very basic scriptures, so it shouldn't be no confusion behind, the mark of the Lord versus the mark of the beast. All right, so, Lord willing, that was edifying. With that, let me give all praise and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Kakadash. I want to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us the truth 100% securely. Shalom, shalom, Kwam Yasharala, shalom.